minasan, Mac Mechanic here, and welcome to another discussion video in which some things kind of pull my interest in this Vanguard stream. For those who don't know, it's on 9th of July 2019 for those who watch this video later. So generally they didn't really release a lot of cards. Makes sense as in the few days VBTO5 will be hitting the market and a lot of interesting new build will be released. Of course, for me, I'll be getting Tsukuyomi for OTT. But there is some Errata fix in premium format which, in a sense, doesn't make sense a lot for me. But now that I consider some of the cards in the V series, it makes sense, but not so much. So let's get into it, shall we? So let's start off with the last triple R that they haven't revealed yet, and that is Knight of Truth Gordon. For those who don't know, Knight of Truth Gordon introduced a special intercept back in the OG era of Vanguard. A nice little trivia there. And he has this following effect. Constant on Regard. During your turn, all the Blaster Blade on Regard Circle and the Vanguard Circle get extra 5k. And if you have a Blaster Blade in the same column as this unit, you literally get this card, give this card a boost. So it is a 15k booster behind Blaster Blade, and that makes a Blaster Blade column during Cancel turn become even more threatening. And I can see a very peculiar pattern here in this particular effect. Cancelot really increased the offense of Royal Paladin by a lot, at the cost of inability to superior call as often as before. I think they try to go less for the restriction. They try to go less for the restriction for the effects of superior calling, but focus more on towards giving synergize with the unit on the field. And I think that is an interesting change to Royal Paladin. However, I think some of the people who played in premium or who like Royal Paladin because of superior callings factor of it might not like it that much, but I think this is a good card. I mean, it's a 15k booster, and that is something that we don't see often, with the exception of Dorin's, in which that thing can stack up to 100k. Trust me, I have tried that. So for the second thing that they revealed during this stream is that they revealed a Errata fix to make some of the cards a little bit more interactable. And in a sense, the card that they released is interactable. But to me, it's not exactly a buff to the card itself, but rather it's a semi-nerf and semi-buff. So let's get into the two cards that they talk about today. The first card is of course Sky Guardian Supreme Dragon, Blue Warp Dragon. So in general, they just fixed the card text from when at the end of the battle, this unit is placed on guard circle to when it retire from guard circle, which in a sense it makes sense. Any G unit that got retired go back to the G zone face up with the new ruling. So it doesn't change the interaction of the card. As long as you have 4 or more opponent have 4 more bind card in the bind zone, then you just retire one of the race front row, and that's the same interaction that they used to have. But I think they used for the retire from the guard circle for some other interaction with the when retire effect, and I think that sounds very interesting. I'm not sure whether... Oh wait, it does. Sorry, it just came to me because I filmed this slide. It has some interaction, and some of those interaction I think goes particularly with Gauntlet Buster Dragon and for the older format for the G era Vanisher. So when it is retire, you during your opponent turn. So the Vanisher will get extra 3k and the crit. Gauntlet Buster I think get extra 5k and the crit. Let me double check real quick. Okay, I'm sorry guys. It only interact with some of the older cards, and I think some of the cards that activate effect triggers when it's retired. So I think that can make up for some interesting interaction. So yeah, that's pretty much fixed for the Blue Warp Dragon. But the next card is a huge deal to me, as it's one of the stride that I hold dear to my heart. And despite all the people goes for a Battle Sister build, go for Susanoo build in the back in G era, I still play this build up till today, and that's Megas. So the card that they fixed is actually the one who view the planet Clockmakers, and instead of a constant, you can check top card anytime that you want, as long as you have the card Megas. It changed into this for following: an auto effect. Please do note an auto effect. When it's placed on a unit is placed on Vanguard Circle or Regard Circle, counting this card in. When a card is put or a card is put into the trigger zone, if you have a heart with Megas, check top and put it back to the top. So in a way, they restrict the Megas mid battle in a way that like some of the cards that used to be interactable with the Globe Megas will no longer be interactable, and one of such combo is Scarlet Witch Nono. Scarlet Witch Nono has ability of when boost GB1, so last one, then draw, and after that, after the end of the battle, shuffle back to the deck. So Nono has a very interesting ability in such a way that you can literally filter the bad card out and ensure that you draw a trigger. But without this, some of the mid-game interaction will kind of be gone, but in the place for some of the other cards to, in a sense, make it much stronger. And some of those cards comes in this booster in the way that like it trigger when you check top cards. So those usually is triggers when you check or look or doing something, not a constant. Must be an auto. So this interactability allows a lot of cards to be playable with Globe Makers, such as Armature Suit. Yes, in general now Armature Suit can plus 25 to 30k before you attack, and that is huge. And there's a few more cards that can interact with it, but I'm not going through the details, but those are some of the more obvious examples. And that's all I have for today, guys. In general, the boost is interesting, but I'm not too sure whether is it a buff or a nerf. So what do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like and share this video if you guys really enjoy it, and hit the subscribe button and the bell button to join my casual party and know all my upcoming notification. And I will see you guys soon in the unboxing video, in which I will be doing it in a few days. So yeah, I hope you see you guys very soon.